kicking us off is a nice fight between Anthony Pettis and Alex Morono. So Pettis, he's a beast. We all know about him. What can we say? You know, he's 23-10 record. He's been around the block. If you look at those 10 losses, man, I'm going to list these off. Dos Anjos, Alvarez, Barbosa, Max Holloway twice, Dustin Poirier, Tony Ferguson, Nate Diaz. Like, look at these names, man. If those are your 10 losses, I mean, all the power to you. You're a beast. And you know, he takes down some of the greats too as well. His most recent fight, he took down Cowboy Cerrone. I believe he's taken him down twice. So this is going to be a handful for Morono for sure, especially because Pettis looked great in his last fight as well. Morono, this is a guy who was rolling, man. He was rolling up until his fight against Khaos Williams. He was just dealing with dudes, and that was a rude awakening for him. Khaos dealt with him with ease early, and I think that was a bit of a rude awakening for him. He's itching. He got back on track. He did fight Rhys McKee, which we saw. I think we took him there as well, and he did get back on track. That was last month. So this is a huge, quick turnaround for him as well, and not going to be an easy one against Anthony Pettis.
Yeah, so, you know, what really shocks me about this one is there's already some leans out there, and people are definitely betting against Pettis. And for me, I'm going to be quite honest with you. I have not watched much tape on Pettis. I've watched his entire career. I don't think I need to go back and watch his last fight because I know how Pettis fights. I've watched Morono's, you know, most recent fights. And funny story, like going back into Morono's career, I actually did a prospect piece for MMA Sucker back in the day in that 2016 UFC debut against Kyle. That was a fight where I ended up like talking about him being like, you know, he should come out with the win. He won that via split. And, you know, obviously we know how he's done since then, losing to certain types of fighters that kind of make you wonder, you know, what is the key to beat him? Because if he was such a highly touted prospect, clearly guys are figuring out pretty quickly. So when I look at him, you know, the way Rhys McKee fights, right? Long, lanky, point striker kind of thing, right? Morono definitely pushes forward. He likes to get in there. Well, if you don't have your hands up, if you're not very technical with your defense, we know what happens. You know, a guy like Khaos Williams had his way with him. So this is the part that really throws me off. And I'm wondering what the line looks like because I haven't seen lines, but I've seen people take Morono already. And I'm just wondering why. Because Pettis is definitely a fighter who understands what it takes to win. He's been a champion. He's fought at multiple weight classes. Like, that's the part where people are just, we're hard on him because of what he shows in like an embedded. Like, don't be eating steaks and missing weight. Like, that just makes me cringe. Like, it's so funny, but this guy showed off a steak knife with his name on it when he's a consistent culprit for having issues. Like, it's just like, buddy, like, you're getting old, right? Like, it's just not as easy to move that weight off your body. It's just that simple. You know, the knockouts against Benson, like, you know, this kid made a name for himself, for his family. His brother's a fighter, and he's finding success. So, you know, this is a borderline generational type of talent, right? Like, he's going to be the cream of the crop for a while, and there's a chance that he's good enough that some of the next generation of his family kind of come up. Like, that's how good he is and was. And, you know, I'm excited to see what he brings to this fight because it's one of the first times we're seeing him kind of play weirdly gatekeeper, because Morono, I believe, is a fighter that needs to kind of see what he can do against the higher tier. And if he gets this win, despite losing to a guy like Khaos Williams, like Khaos Williams is going to be a step ahead every time now because he's going to get events like he did tonight or again on Saturday. But that's where you're going to see them kind of separate. Remember, we talked about this once. I explained to you how that scheduling, you'll always notice, Pies, how some guys who have fought each other will always end up on the same cards. You know what I mean? Like, it seems to be like such a focal point of scheduling, and it makes sense to me. Like, obviously it makes sense. So, you know, for Morono to be a few fights earlier against a guy like Pettis, you could make the argument that Khaos Williams, yeah, he definitely has a guy that he has to take on that's maybe more of a come up. But, yo, Morono has a lot to gain from beating a guy like Pettis.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you know, if we're going to dive right into some biggie tracks, you know, for the opening for some of these guys, a perfect one for Morono is one more chance. You know what I mean? Let's give this guy one more chance to see if he can get back into that title contention.
That's a great one because the real issue with him, right? And I think that's why he's getting a fight like this earlier in the card. It's like, you know, go out there, see if you can beat, you know, a Anthony Pettis, who's coming off of, say, a fight against, you know, a very respectable Thompson. I'll never say anything ill will about him, but again, like, that's a recoverable fight. Like, that's him trying to get back into the winning ways. So I am curious where that line kind of sits, and it's funny because
let's jump right into it. Yeah.
So I'm gonna drop my track for the line to my boy Anthony Pettis, Dangerous MCs featuring my mans, and we're gonna go with Anthony Pettis at a -150.
Ooh, a little bit more boost for him. A little bit more boost for that man. He's actually coming in at a -225 favorite. That's a pretty heavy favorite, in my opinion.
For Anthony?
For Anthony Pettis, yeah.
Yeah, you know what, man? I'm very happy with that line. And the only reason I didn't put it that high, and I know I've been criticized already for how low my lines are, and this card has not been any different, so I apologize already. But, I mean, that is an example of where it looks exactly the way it should, and I believe it's a huge upset if Marino pulls it off. In fact, like, him getting this fight is so big after the Khaos loss that he has everything to gain. So, going back to some of the previous fights you've mentioned, Pies, I'm going to say that by the end of this evening, you're going to have some bets to lock in ASAP.
Yeah, and to be honest, Morono probably got this fight because of that recent battle with McKee within the last month. Had he not decided to rush that out in 2020, we probably wouldn't be seeing him this weekend.
Exactly.
Overall, it's going to be a great card. Tune in, UFC this Saturday, December 19th. For us, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button, give us a follow on Instagram, Twitter. Our picks go up all of there, along with all of our other content, you know, clips of our videos from YouTube. Other great MMA content is on the Kaizen MMA. Make sure you check it all out. Give us a follow, give us a subscribe, give us a comment, engage in conversation, whatever you may want to do to kind of further this. Anything else, Siraj?
No, man, everything. You just hit nail on the head. Like, let's finish the year strong. This is the last fight card for us. You know, we're going to be going real hard at this one, just to have some fun with it. We're really excited for the next couple weeks to be able to develop, you know, our, you know, niche, our, you know, market. Like, it's going to be really fun for us. And so we're really excited for 2021. And, you know, if we don't really, since we don't have a card, you know, as the vet, the bet, and the casual, happy holidays, happy Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we'll see you for the next card. But, you know, maybe we get you some new content in that time. We shall see.
Yeah, perfect. You said it best, man. Happy holidays to everybody. Thank you for all your support. And Siraj, great seeing you as always, man.
You, my boy. I love you. Peace.
Take care.